G'day guys. We've got a fantastic companion here by the name of Oreo, and it's been a while since we've done a dog portrait, so I'm a little bit excited. Oreo's Justin's pet companion dog, and this picture here, Oreo's just a month old, and probably in line with the man's best friend mentality is that Justin was telling me that Oreo helps him be a better person, or helped him be a better person. So this one here, like similar dog pictures, is gonna be about that companionship, that unconditional love, and hopefully during the process we capture some of that Oreo essence, the flavor of Oreo. That's the plan. Hey Vic, I've been good. I've been really good. We're back with a dog picture. A companion called Oreo. And rather than being on the beach, we are in nature. It's a freshly mown lawn. What a time to be alive. Now let's get this here. I'm gonna move this just over here. We'll dance it around the picture as we go, but that's all we'll have it right now. And the next thing to do with one of these plates, fold that up. Beautiful. Here we go. You don't wanna make me cry with those ocean eyes. I've been liking this little tray here. This little tray actually lets me use both my hands and use both brushes. Bit of a unique change. Hey Shanna. Yeah, you're here on time, all right. The wind might catch these and try and blow them out, so I'll just add a little bit of tape, just in case that attempts to happen. Don't wanna make me cry with those ocean eyes. Dun, dun. Yeah. Da, 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 da. Hello to Florida. With those ocean eyes. Okay. So, one of the key parts of Oreo here, aside from capturing the likeness up through here, is to make sure we get this lovely green tone into the picture so it matches the environment that the project's going to go in. And so we're going to build it up first with these darker tones, but later in the piece, greens are going to play a massive role in that background. So if you see me dabbling and playing and mixing with greens, there's method to the madness. There is method to the madness. A plan, so to say. Okay. Got our canvas set up. We've got our giant brush ready to go. We're starting off with a big one. We've got our clear painting medium. Got a lid on it, it's annoying. Just roll these up past the elbow so I can actually, here we go. So I can actually move my hand. I hate it when the folded up shirt lands right on that elbow. Hello from New Zealand. You're watching a stream in New Zealand. And hey Harmony. Alright. I'll probably keep this one down here because we'll keep dicing back to that one. They don't wanna make me cry with those ocean eyes. Are you ready? I'm ready. Perfect. Small brush there too. Where am I painting today, John? Great question. Out in nature on a freshly mown lawn here in New Zealand, in a northern part of Auckland. Come on out of there, Payne's Grey. There we go. And I don't wanna make you cry with those ocean eyes. Winston. Dun, 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 dun. La da 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 da. It went down. Woo. I almost got that in the toolkit then for a moment. That almost went in. Didn't, but it almost did. Okay. Went down. I don't wanna make you cry with those open eyes. Went down. Dun, 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 dun. But that song's stuck in my head. Has been for a while now, but that's fun. So first off, need a bit of wild in it. A bit of wild. Here. I know. I got one other thing. A big container of water. So we've got water, we've got Oreo, and we're starting off with the darker colours. Darker first and foremost. Lots of darkness. Building out those deep tones, confidently doing these strokes, and then from this darkness, will come those features and the fun that makes Oreo. But don't think of the darkness as a negative way to start either. Don't think of it like that. Think of the darkness as actually the underlying foundations of definition that then build in the depth to the overall work. Without the darkness to start with, it can go in all sorts of directions actually. You could start light. I prefer the light over the dark colours. Don't know why that is. It looks fairly similar. Oh, the guy's just mowing the lawns, guys. I'll just move my car out of the way. I'll leave you here for one moment and come on back. SunSmart. Get this on here. There we go. And we are good to continue. They don't want to make me cry. Ocean eyes. Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Bam, boom, bam, dun, 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 dun. La da 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 da, loo da 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 da, da 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 da, loo da 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 da. Who sees a dog? Have I heard of? No, I haven't, Audi, but it sounds interesting and perfect day. It is indeed. It's awful. Queen Mahon, yes, it's awful. It's terrible. Oh, how dare he? Early days. Think of this layer here, similar to how you think about a building. Think of the building as having many stories, having cladding, having flooring. At this stage right now, in the first 10 minutes of the 20-hour period, we lay down the foundations. So all we should see, hey Ashy, all we should see is the idea of concrete foundations getting laid for a great piece to be made upon. Wild and crazy in this case, controlled and calculated in a building's case. But if you're thinking it needs to be perfect straight away, you might be one of those people, or might like those artists who work gently from one corner to the other. That's not how we work here. With this, we work with actually starting everything at once and pulling the picture out. I couldn't stand gently making it perfect from corner to corner. I don't feel like that's art, and if it is art, it certainly isn't my style. Well, of course it's art. It's not my style. This is my style, wild and free. So you're joining a start of a piece of work here. The very, very start, the wild, chaotic beginnings, and then we'll watch it take form from there. But if you want to see one in its last finishing stages, you need to be on a different stream, because we're starting this one from the wild, wild beginnings. Wild love deep in my soul, wild love. And then now, rather than moving on to the next color, I'm going to combine white into this color. There we go. Get in there. Cheers, Sheva. That's a lie though, you know that. Sometimes we miss horrifically, but that's part of the fun. We're working with chaos, and with chaos comes the inherent possibility that it goes wrong. And we talk here occasionally about works that have gone wrong. So right now, we just don't know. We just don't know. We obviously hope, we always hope, that chaos will be on our side this time, but we never know that. These works are inherently chaotic. Now bear in mind that that background is going to go green. It's going to match the space that Oreo goes into. Dog's name is Oreo. For those who are wondering why that Word keeps popping up again and again, popping up. Deep in my soul, wild love. That I know won't do. Da da dee, da da know, wild love. Coming on in here. You know, Andrew, I'm inclined to agree. Some of the stuff that goes completely wrong becomes your favorite. One great example of that I'd completely written off was the work by the sunflowers, some of the Van Gogh sunflowers, that I'd written off as a disaster. And I didn't touch it, and I pulled it out the other day. And I was like, you are a beautiful disaster. I love you. And now it's a beautiful piece hanging in my house. Audi, Picasso's incredible. He's an absolute legend. Are they polarized, Senator? No, I think they're just a cheap pair. And in this intense sunlight, they help me see a little bit better. But they will actually, over the course of the painting, lighten up the work a wee bit, which would be nice. Deep in my soul, wild love. Dun, 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 dun. Let's have a little look-see here. Don't jump on the cobalt. Got to make sure I don't stand in your way too, team. I got to consider that your frame. So if I dive around a little bit, it's to help y'all see what you're looking at. There we go. Okay, here's the first blues that come into Oreo's coat, and they're going to be hanging around deep in there with those violets. There we go. Again, remember that we need to start inherently chaotic, and that's what's happening right now. Passionate, but chaotic. Without that chaotic passion to start with, we'll never capture what we've set out to capture. We need that first and foremost. Too often do you start a work and you don't actually put that chaotic, wild joy into it to start with, and it never actually comes together. It never actually gets the chance to flourish and to exist. So we're going to let it flourish. We're going to get in here, throw around these colours, like an absolute madman. There we go. Beautiful. That's that blue. Blue just sits so well with whites and violets. Bishop. That could be interesting. And ultraviolet, it's too late. There's already drips all over it, see? We've failed, we've lost the mystique of painting a white shirt. I failed that on a previous canvas. such a pity. I thought I was so cool. And then it came down to it, push came to shove, and I failed. All right. Lots of wind, but we're okay because of that 10 peg holding the canvas into place. Wild love, deep in my soul, da da da, down, da 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 do. Couple of little drips coming down, but it's okay because our paint has fast dry through it, so it'll have to really hammer down to deter us. Currently, I'm undeterred. Just gonna leap on the side a little bit, creep up the side, down this side. I'm just gonna put you back a little bit more, guys. Don't get offended. It's not because of anything you did. Wow, love. There we go. Put you right there. Perfecto. You miss painting so much. Start again, Lizzie. Start again. Wow, love. Deep in my soul. Da, da, da. La da da. I need another dark tone here. This is a sign to pick up a brush again. Yes, Ashy. And yes, Lizzie, pick up a brush again. Do it. Yeah. It's funny how things like painting and dancing and singing we love so much, and we let the world sort of change us, or feel like maybe we do like being more stoic and not actually existing in the moment and enjoying ourselves, but we'd like to just sit there with a blank face and not create, but just watch time pass by. Maybe read a book that's intelligent but doesn't strike passionate emotion within us. I don't know. When you get back, a renaissance, back to actually feeling that primal sort of urge to create. Just the way it started, with the joy of actually getting in there and allowing paint to talk where words can't. I know that sounds cheesy, but paint talks where words can't. In the same way, and you'll know this if you've danced before, that sometimes words of love can only take you so far, or words of passion can only take you so far. And to dance, to express yourself through movement, can tell the whole world, or tell the person you care about, something new, different, special. Like music. I think Ed Sheeran says things in his songs through music that we actually connect with more than we would through spoken word. They're op shop shoes, so I'm not sure. I haven't played piano in years, but would love to again. I just need to find a piano. Honestly, Ashy, if it's the creation part you love, you can get that same joy from a keyboard. Like, a piano is beautiful, obviously acoustically wonderful device, but to actually be able to sit down there and enjoy the idea of making, you don't need the most expensive paint, you don't need the best music, you don't need the best piano, you just need the desire to enjoy yourself. No, you can't get a keyboard and do it in front of millions of people, probably, but you can just enjoy that. Too many people, I can't paint because I can't afford a canvas. Buy board. Buy core flute, doesn't matter. The core of painting was never to create a finished product. Never. Otherwise, why would they have done cave paintings? way back in history. They didn't do those to sell. They were in a cave. But we get so hung up on the idea that art needs to go on a service that we can then take into a society that will then buy the painting. I get that. Food on the table, you got to eat. But remember that you do that externally to the painting process itself. The painting process didn't require being sold. The painting process didn't require being in a form that could be moved. The painting process didn't actually even require that it exists. Here we go. A bit more around here. Beautiful. Sorry about that noise too, guys. There's a lawnmower cruising around today. He's doing a fantastic job looking after this planet. Well, looking after this wonderful little part of the planet Earth. Keeping the grass nice and trimmed so we can paint on it. Gotta respect that. There we go. All right, we can take off the glasses now. No more need for those. All right. Our dog's coming along. We'll play around with a few more colours and then we'll start getting a bit into those deep dark tones again. Because you see now those colours are starting to overpower the work we already did. Which is all right. Part of the fun. Thought it was the wind? Nah, it's a great guy going about his day. Getting piano recently. My friend has been, all right. You're learning, Deep in my soul, wild love. Do. Need more of that stuff here. Who's jumped in here? Mike. How you doing, Mike? Good to have you in here. Hope you're healthy and happy, boy. Man. All right, we're gonna grab just a little bit of red and put it through here. If it looks chaotic, we're on the right track. That's what we're after here. Classic problem, I've left my rag at home. Just wipe that off on the back of the canvas. Wild love, deep in my soul, wild love. Here he comes again. He's going about his business. He's doing an incredible job. It makes talking a little bit tough, but you know what, to have mown lawns, it's all worth it. There we go. Wild love. Aloha, Steve. Welcome on in. We're back here doing a lovely painting of a dog. And you've arrived in the first 20 minutes. The first wild, chaotic, crazy 20 minutes. And in these 20 minutes, we're hoping that we'll start capturing some of the character. Oreo is the name of the dog, and Oreo is 1 month old in this picture. 1 month old from Singapore. Oreo's a rescue dog. And what I was talking to Justin, the owner and companion of Oreo, about was Oreo's helped Justin become a better person. And dogs do that, don't they? Dogs do help you become a better person. Whether they teach you how to care, teach you how to love, they definitely teach me how to always feel joy or happiness in moments, to be excited about what's to come. A gap to start a painting? See, can someone help me out here? I'm a millennial. I'm 31 years old. What does GYYAAATT mean? Because I see that a lot of the time and it confuses me. And now I'm seeing reels about millennials trying to say words that the next generation's using. So gyat. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that right. Gyat. If I was to guess what it means, it's like you've got something. It's like you want to emphasize got, I have. Or like you're talking and then you have like a mid cough. Like, yeah. I think it's that one. Oh. So, I got you now, okay. So it's not a term you'd use in a business meeting. Dairy me, I got it all twisted. God. I'm following now, Vic. I'm following. So you're not saying got, you're saying God. Okay. It's an American term then, would it be? Because it had that. Is there a religious aspect to it, or is it actually? Are religious people saying it, or is everyone saying it? It doesn't sound inherently pious. Oh, okay. No, we've got it incorrect. Yep. I understand now. We need to start another one like. You would have thought the newest generation wouldn't have like grabbed a hold of that kind of term. They would have leapt on something like science rather than gyat. And science would be like, hey, science. I don't know. We've talked about this. I wasn't cool in high school and I'm not, and it's only gone downhill since then. There we go. Whoa. But if the world starts saying science instead, it started here with you guys. There we go. Wild love, deep in my soul, wild love. You know I gotta go, wild love. Dum dum, lum dum ba dum dum ba dum dum, wild love. Dum da. Dum 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 da lum da lum dum 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 dum. Wow, love, deep in my soul, labadoo. I'll tell you what. We go through all these new terms. We need to start bringing back some of the old terms. I reckon if we started saying yabba dabba doo, everyone's just going to think we just recently came up with it. You're like, hey, do you want to go to the park? Oh, yabba dabba doo. And then everyone will be like, all right, that's a new funky term. All the kids are using that, yabba dabba. And you'd be like, yeah, totally. I mean, Flintstones is almost out of copyright now. It was supposed to be, I think. I know that because the restaurant that I was the ops manager for, we were trying to do the Flintstones rib stack, but it hadn't become, whatever you call it, public domain, that's the word. Hadn't become public domain yet, so we couldn't do that. But it's food for thought anyway. I'm gonna start saying that. When someone like sends me their art, when someone sends me pictures of what they're working on in the DMs, they'll be like, what do you think? I'll be like, I like it. Are you sure? I yabba dabba do. And they'll be like, okay. Okay, he wasn't lying. He's genuinely crazy. Especially if they're from a generation that never watched Flintstones. The other name for the rib stack, aside from just being the, what was it? Flintstones rib stack. Was it the name for it? I thought it was more catchy than that. Was the Bam Bam rib stack, or Bam Bam sauce. So you have the Flintstones rib stack with Bam Bam sauce. That was a idea. Here we go. Wild love, deep in my soul, wild love. Yeah. See, it's kind of like a pillar coming up here. Because honestly, I don't get why all the kids get to come up with new words. And I never see people in their like 50s or anything hammering out a new word. And surely with our information and life experience, I mean, I'm only 31, but with a life experience, we could come up with terms that no one else has ever thought about. Or are more nuanced to understand. Wild love. We have the power, we just haven't seized it yet. Oreo silhouette's coming in. It slowly will. The big elements of the silhouette is going to be obviously the body rising up here, the two ears, and then the two little tufts of white. They'll really make Oreo stand out. The eyes too will have some intricate detail, but most the sudden focal point or acknowledgement is going to be to these identifying tufts, is going to be to this giant column of his body. And if we do our job right, being that art's the job and we're supposed to be good at that, what you'll also see is perspective. And I say perspective because if I bring this right up here, you can see how these tiles head back on Oreo. So we're going to splash in a million different colors all through here, and you're actually going to see that we're not going to draw it in there. We don't want to ever draw perspective. It's the worst way to do it. But we're going to acknowledge these as all individual shapes. And so all the angles and moments and things are going to be all slightly off, but together in unison, we're going to have that perspective. And then through here, obviously, not that graduation backwards. We're just going to see wild, chaotic fur. That's the plan. Right. And layer one, you crazy, messy little concoction. Always in my heart, I've got a soft spot for layer ones. It's like the moment where you get to actually release on a piece of artwork, to really concoct it and to send it on a path. Kind of like with firing an arrow. It's satisfying to watch the arrow fly through the air, but the most satisfying part, two most satisfying parts of firing an arrow: the moment you release it and it goes out into the distance, and the moment it hits and thuds on the target. And art's pretty similar to that, both at the start and later in the piece, getting to the conclusion and the beginning. That's where the fun lies. For me anyway. Some people might find the most therapeutic part of it is just watching that arrow sail through the sky. Whew. Don't get used to me catching that. If we get any large lumps of paint on the canvas too, it's going to be okay, because what we can do is scrape them off. So I haven't talked about it a whole lot, but Van Gogh used a whole bunch of impasto textures. He did use impasto textures, and the reason he used them is he felt like if he applied the paint thicker, it would keep its colour for longer. So that's why you see in his works this thick, squelching, layered paint. It wasn't because he just loved the way it caught the light as such. Well, he might have had that as an offshot effect, but in the letters to his brother Theo, he wrote specifically that because the colour fades, and he knew a lot about colour, the science of colour he was smart on. Because the colour fades, all the more reason, let's say I'm paraphrasing because it's not a direct quote, because I get these things wrong every now and again. He says, all the more reason to apply it thick and raw. So when I read that quote when I was younger, that resonated with me. And that's part of the reason why you'll always hear me use the word raw, primal, when I'm talking about art. Not just Van Gogh, but the philosophy of going, how can we get the most possible colour into this work? Thick and raw. That's how you get the most out of it. If you do it too thin, as time goes by, the light fastness may just work the colour out. Kind of like when you buy a, let's say a toy or something cheap that's got a thin layer of ink and not a big, strong, compelling, powerful kick to it. Okay, first time in now, here we go. Painting in the nose. Now this is why the picture makes very little sense when you start, because little things aren't even in the picture. Its eyes aren't there, its head isn't there, but little features start to appear. Don't get caught up thinking you need to see the picture too soon. That will ruin anything you do. If you were building a house and panicked and put the roof on too early, the whole project's ruined. When you're building a house, the concrete foundations need to go in first. The rods or the walls need to get built up from the inside out and won't look like a wall that you'd normally see or a building you'd normally see until you get right to the point where the final layers go on. Now, at a certain point, you'll start to recognize the house. Of course you will. But leading up to that point, don't you dare paint the house before you've finished the foundations of the walls. In this case, it's quite prudent because we're literally painting, so there we go. Just gonna slap in a whole bunch of black. Doing the black now and taking over the artwork, so later in the piece, I don't have to come back and think, oh, I need to cut out colour or cut out moments to ascertain more black in the work. I want the black to speak now. Speak now, yow. Da-da-da-dum. 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 When you go. When you walk through the door, it was clear to me. When you're done. You're a rock star. Play That's how the song goes. You might start to see a little bit of that perspective forming, but it's going to take a lot more layering to go before we get there. A lot more little cheeky bits. If you're in a hurry, that's all good. The replays of what's happening here go up everywhere. And just download them straight from TikTok and put them up onto YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. Goes everywhere. So basically wherever you like to connect, you can probably find what you're after, which I like. watch there. There we go. You're a player. Landa danda 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 daya. Wow, look at that there. Here we go. You're a danda. Landa danda 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 danda. Donda 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 donda. Luda duda duda dada. Luda. If you're wondering if it's just this session or most sessions I get a song stuck in my head and sing it the whole time, it's most sessions. Most sessions. Alright, let's get a bit of Naples Yellow in the shooting box now. That's the next colour we want. Here we go. Here we go. I want Naples Yellow. They call him Mellow Yellow. Bamba 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 bamba. Naples Yellow predominantly in the background and not so much in the dog himself. We'll add some touch points in there for Oreo, but predominantly, actually that's a bad colour. Give me that brush back. Predominantly though, these colours are going to end up in the surrounding area. Alright, let's go. The wind's out. The wind's out. Wind's out. Here we go. I always say that the hardest challenge when you're painting is to battle with the wind. Everything else is so utterly manageable. But that wind can be so incredibly difficult. Let's bring you to here. There we go. Wonderful. I'm going to center you right there. Have I done an on-location paint in Hamilton? Not recently. I'd like to do more stuff in Hamilton, I think. But I'm usually in Auckland or Tauranga. So I drive past Hamilton, but never actually stop to do the painting part. Maybe one day soon. On thick. Okay. Well, I'd love to have you visit. If I ever did a painting thing in Hamilton, you're welcome to wander on up and say hi. Sometimes people do, even when I'm painting here in Auckland. They pop on by and just politely. Everyone's sweet. There we go. Usually, children are lovely, innocent and friendly, excited that painting is happening, intrigued by chaotic colour, wild, crazy little moments splattering all over a canvas. Yeah, this is going well. This is crazy, but it's going well. This is as long as you've stayed. Oh, well. Good to have you here, Lizzie. Oh, a live. Okay, I thought you meant one of my lives. Oh, well, I'm glad you've liked it. One cool thing to do too, Lizzie, if you're in a hurry, bail, and then when you get the replay, you can flick through it 20 minutes at a time. And when you flick through it 20 minutes at a time, you can just see the colours instantaneously hit. There's a different experience between being here right now and being part of the vibe to actually mechanically being able to skip through and see the parts you want to see. But I'm not going to tell you what you like. You do you, obviously. New Zealandia, yes indeed. Yes indeed. This is New Zealand. And no, we're still playing that sweet, sweet waiting game. Here we go. You're a rock star. Need more of that. Rub. There we go. The colour's a little bit lighter now, which I like. I like that. The noise is all stopped, which is lovely. Gives you that breathing air. And now, body job is to start lashing around this paint, seeing if we can't get some of that puppy. Cheers, guys. Hey, speaking of, guys, one question. Series. I'm gonna watch it regardless. But what I'm after here is a little bit of feed on what you think about it, or the mind frame I should enter it with. The mind frame I should enter it with for Palm Royal, because I've heard some amazing things about it, and I was meant to watch it a while ago. I promised a friend I was going to watch it on the ASAP, and life got in the way, but it's still on my agenda. It's still high on my list to get done. So I can tell him that actually I've watched it and I want to give honest feedback, but to do that too, I like to know what sort of mind frame I should be going into these things with. So if anyone's seen Palm Royal and has some comment to make, I would like to hear that comment, because I'm about to experience it for myself. You can see how we can be so inherently wild when we do these dog portraits. It leans into the dog well too, because the more wild you are with the paint, the more it leads to that crazy, crazy is the wrong word, joyful, adventurous dog nature. So you don't want to sacrifice that if you can. You want to lean into that. And if you're wondering what this will end up looking like, there's an amazing picture to get a yardstick from. It's called Cassie's Joy. Now this is going to be a unique picture. It's not going to be exactly the same as Cassie's Joy, obviously. It's a different animal, different mood, different companion, different everything. But the style of paint and the layering, if I can control chaos about right, should be fairly similar. Esther. Well, you know what, Esther? I don't know what you're going through, and I don't know you personally, but in this little environment, you are more than welcome, and I hope that spending some time here helps helps take you closer to wherever it is you want to be. Now, I'm not saying you want to feel more or less, but wherever it is that you actually want to be going, I hope hanging out here and watching an absolutely crazy Kiwi throwing around some paint, and hopefully it'll give you what you need. Because honestly, I spend so long scrolling on social media sometimes. Everything's trying to take your attention, everything's trying to get something from you. Everything. And you feel like everything you watch is just another excuse for another click to happen, another scroll to happen, another moment to be monetized of yours. So, and to be fair, I'm also here doing this, but I kind of feel like when I paint, I was hell-bent on one thing. I wanted to come onto social media and make it not some kind of explosive, here's the hook, here's the, the YouTube classic, watch this video till the end and things. I just wanted it to be raw, I wanted it to be real. I thought, what would 18-year-old me, that's 13 years ago now, what would have he liked? What would have helped him on his journey across the bridge of adolescence, and what would have helped him actually understand himself, his art, all that more? What would that have been? And I keep falling on authenticity, because I remember when I was in high school, there was a real lack of authenticity. We were all terrified to be ourselves. I remember I was doing a brand design. I was in this design class, and we have to come up with an idea and make it, basically. So I had an idea for a deodorant, and I stood in front of the class, and we've got snowboarding brands, and we've got car brands, and we've got this and that. I wanted a scent, and at an all-boys school. And so my idea was a deodorant, a cologne, a perfume. And I said to them, look, it's a perfume here, it's for males, but anyone can wear it. And I think I had a name for it. It was called, I think it was called Man. No, some name, I forget the name of it. But anyway, I said I think it was called Man, because I said it's just a perfume for spontaneous, happy-go-lucky, friendly, but also more on the adult side male, as the mold I was after, as the product person for it. And the whole class burst out laughing. Oh, that's right, I used the word spontaneous and flamboyant as the two key founding words for this perfume cologne to be centered around. And I said, look, it'll usually be marketed to men, but anyone can wear it. Just like a lot of the tough guys in school would secretly wear Febreze. Quite funny, actually. I only realised that after high school. Febreze was like a woman's, at the time, deodorant. And all the guys who were tough typically wore that, because it was softer on the skin. But point being here, that one day if I ever create a deodorant, I'm going to figure out what it was called and exactly what the message was. Because after the class laughed at me, and they, it was flamboyant and spontaneous and the idea of a scent, I backed right off it. Whoop. I backed right off it and made a snowboarding brand. Why? It was such a beautiful thing. It was such a fun idea, but I guess we just didn't have that kind of space where we felt safe enough to be ourselves. So if you're an adult now and you feel like you didn't have that when you were a kid, I feel like you've got the responsibility now to help nurture that and create it in the space. That's how I feel. Here we go. Imagine all the people they're living for today. day. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Some sweet day, yeah, you'll find us. The world will live as one. Had the Let It Be from the Beatles playing on the way here. What a beautiful, beautiful song. Beautiful musicians doing beautiful music. Oh, and we come. Cheers, Asta, I appreciate that. And cheers, Lizzie. Primal art, that's a great question. And cheers, George. So, primal art is a term I like to use. It is an actual term, but I use it in a slightly modified definition. So primal art would be any art made with an intentional purpose to use rudimentary or ancient tools. It's a renaissance to the rudimentary, to what our ancestors used to make art. It's primal. So some people work on animal skins and things like that. For me personally, I don't do it on animal skins or do it like a cave painting. I believe that the use of a paintbrush now in the 21st century, and the fact that we're using coloured liquid to make the artwork and not some tablet, this is inherently primal. And so I cling to this brush and this coloured liquid and the flat surface and use that as the definition of the rudimentary so I say shackles, the rudimentary shackles I put on myself to then funnel the art through. So you'd have to ask yourself, you could, well, not ask yourself, but you could have primal impressionism, which is this, where you create an impression of something in a primal way. You could have primal expressionism, you could have primal realism. Primal realism today would be any artwork made in this paint with a brush context and put together as perfect realism. I think most artists are primal realists without even realizing it. And they'll say, this is the one true form of art. Primal realism is beautiful and it is a form of art, but it's no longer the only form of art. Art changed, and we learned that art can get shaken up in such a drastic, amazing way in less than 200 years ago when photography showed up on the scene. And the primal realists were standing there saying, this is not real art. Paint will always be real art. And even after the AI revolution, there we go. And even after the AI revolution occurs, we'll still have people who say paint is the real form of raw art, and paint will never disappear. But actually what it's used for, it was used to capture something. Photography came along and took that in a much better way than we could do with paint. It was immediate and fast and exact. And then AI came along and said, hey, rather than when you imagine everything Salvador Dali did, he could now say that to an AI robot and have it created. And so now Salvador Dali's amazing pictures, those still art. In the future, AI can do that. Everyone in this world has now become Salvador Dali. You have the ability, because he said he painted his dreams, to vocalize your dreams to a robot and have it created, and then have that printed onto a canvas and hung in your home. That power was not there for Salvador. You have it in your hands. And once we have it in our hands, it's funny. If I told you, would you like the power of Salvador Dali? You'd say, yes, please. You have it. For literally $45 a month from Chatbot GPT-4. That's incredible. That's mind-boggling. I love that. And this isn't saying that painting's gone. No, not at all. What this is saying is that we now can better understand exactly what painting exists for. It's not to capture, it's not to create something in a picture, capture the real world, or create something from our imaginations exactly as we see it in the form of a photo. It's to enjoy the process, something wild and crazy. It's like we see robots dancing, but we don't see robots dancing and say, oh, well, humans shouldn't dance anymore. We don't dance anymore because robots do it. No. We don't do certain jobs now that robots do it, but we certainly always going to dance. And that's how you want to understand painting. That even if the world throws technology out there, cameras and AI and all these crazy new things that help us generate art as we know it currently, painting won't disappear. Painting will be like dancing. And the very fact that you get to do the process, and there's a journey, and there's hiccups and slight detours, and there's mistakes in the picture, but it's beautiful, and those little funny mistakes that occur, we'll always find a home for it. Here we go. Coming on down here. Articulate. Hey, thanks very much, Esther. I appreciate that. And User. Well, User's very enthusiastic about painting. I love your enthusiasm. And I love that you're here, really keen to see where this painting goes. And I quote, stop dancing and get on with the painting. I'll reword that actually. Stop dancing and get on with the painting. It's this enthusiastic, guttural excitement to see where the art's going to go. The point I'm making here is that it doesn't matter if this painting gets finished, User. That's not what this is for. It's not what this is for. What we're doing here is we're enjoying the process. We're out here in the sun. We're getting vitamin D in the sun. We're using this colored liquid and throwing it on a canvas. If someone said to us, here's the picture of a dog straight away, here it is. You can have it, it's right here. The best example right here is a photo. We could print this out in any size and we could put it on our wall at home anywhere as many times as we liked. But we're not here to get to a simple end result like that. We're here to go on a journey. And in that journey, stroke after stroke and moment after moment, we're hoping we get a little bit of the essence of this dog, a little bit of the essence of Oreo. We might failed in the past, but if it could just suddenly exist, I don't believe it would be the same art. I don't believe I'd connect with it, feel it, as much as I want to feel it. I know it sounds so cheesy, but it's kind of like you know, when you're given something straight away, you immediately devalue it. But if you have to work for it over periods of time, long periods of time, you fall in love with it more and more and more. That's what art's like. There has to be a journey. And it has to be an unpredictable one, like a book. It's got to take different directions. It's got to be wrong sometimes. It's got to be right. It's got to be all the things. And in that weird, wrong, right, confusing, sudden journey, I want to find a dog. Okay, User, I love you to bits. You're a fantastic person, but just for this session, you've got a little bit of negativity. So I'm going to mute you, but I'd love to keep you here. Just because numbskull isn't a nice term. We can't talk about people like that in the chat room. But we do want your passion for painting to come back next time. So thanks for being here. You're like, that's fantastic. And what country? This is, oh wow. Well, this is New Zealand, and you're watching a painting happen in Auckland. And Brazil, that's exciting. Why not do a bunny? Well, we want to capture a dog right now, so that's what we're up to. But maybe one day we'll do a bunny. I ended up doing more dogs, and I think I give off that golden retriever energy. And with that golden retriever energy, I typically end up doing a whole lot more dogs than I do cats. But that's okay. I like dogs. I'm a dog guy. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a dog guy. You love New Zealand because of Lord? Yeah. You know, sometimes before she got super famous, you'd see her on flights around New Zealand. You probably still do. Apparently this, I'm going to say this, I've heard this from several people, she is amazingly nice, polite, kind and empathetic. So I've heard that from 3 separate people. So at a certain point, you've just got to believe it. I've never met her myself. To be here in this process, I've picked up some gold nuggets. Oh, you're welcome, Lizzie. Great to have you here. I'm glad I could help. We've actually made some really good ground. Dog's still in the building part, but the perspective there is starting to show up in those blocks. And Georgie, appreciate that. We don't know that though. It could all go horribly wrong. That's part of the fun of this. But at the moment, we're going in the right direction. Now let me open up this tube here. And I'm glad now that I can think clearly that the mower's gone. I can think clearly now, the lawnmower has gone. I don't know if it was noisy for you guys, but it was loud for me. Man alive, it was pumping. But I didn't want to, I was trying to act as cool as possible because I didn't want to let you guys or him know that I was battling with the sound. And honestly, I'll battle with anything other than wind. Wind is so tough. Wind is my arch nemesis when it comes to making art. And Leonardo, I'll send you a hello. That's the best I can do. Can I bring you, what I'll do, yeah, I'll bring you closer. That's fair. Let's bring you to here. There we go. Perfect. How's that position? I moved you back there a little bit, just while I was moving around a whole lot, but you're right, you should be closer. Imagine all the people. We might throw around some fun light colours before the end of this. But at the moment, we just want to keep playing. Bit of that there we go. With those tanny naples. Maybe some hot pink before the end. We'll see how we go. Imagine all the people living for today. Yeah. Oreo, 1 month old, from Singapore. You lovely dog. Just lean across here. Get in there. Beautiful. Beautiful. You may say that I'm a dreamer. I'm not the only one. Some sweet day will find us. The world will live as one. I think that's how the song goes. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. La da dee da doo. Da da. Oh, the comment's too small there. There we go. And Leandro, I gave you a big wholesome hello. I did pretty good there, Leandro. All right. Next colour. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Grab this plate here. Grab this here. You may say that I'm a dreamer. I'm not the only one. There we go. Raw green, team. Bit of that. And I've thrown them off, put them on, thrown them off, put them on. We're back on the sunglasses. Now the first vibrant, crazy colour of green, we're going to add this gently into the background. Big wads, lumps of it as we go. Now, relax about this green, team. You may think, wow, that's a lot of green, but I need it built into the undermath of this painting, undergrowth. So then we can slowly, through the green, build up into the other pigments. A little bit of red and blue underneath, and then from there, everything else. With a professor, how? Well, that's very kind of you. You're welcome in here anytime, and if I can impart any knowledge, I will. But remember, the thing about it is, it's not about learning from me and then copying exactly the style. This is my style, and although you're welcome to have it and copy it to your heart's desire, I will also say that you have your own unique style, your own unique path to go on, and to use everything I've got only to help you accelerate your own path. Otherwise you end up watching other people thinking, God, why are they so good at that? Why do they do that? Just like a fish comparing itself to a monkey. Insane. When if the fish just went into water, it could swim. So, in the same way, you never want to watch another artist's style and think, oh my God, I need to duplicate that exactly as it is. No, use that as a blueprint to run off and create your own style from if you want to use some of the tips from it. And not just for art, but for whatever it is that you do. A lot of the best tips I've ever had for art, my building example, come from project managers. The idea that actually you can do things that look nonsensical at the time, but help with the structural stability of the overall work. That planning, accepting a bit of chaos, and allowing yourself to work on the foundations before it looks like a house can be fundamental to actually getting the result that you're truly after. Always been drawn to landscapes and nature? Perfect, perfect. If you already know little things about yourself, huge head start. Yeah, it's a sunny day. I'll spin you around here a little bit so you can see the place we're at the moment. So, lovely trees around the show. The sun's over in that direction. And we're positioned here only because it's the best place in terms of where the sun's shining down from. Oh, Asta, that's a great question. That's a great question. I'm a bit of an introvert, to be fair. But, you know, when I go out into a bar, I'm not going to be the guy in the middle of it carrying the audience as such. But when we talk about something I'm passionate about, or I think it'll make a difference, like right now, making this art, share some love, make someone happy, make something new, raw and special, then yeah, I'll do this for 14 hours. I'll talk non-stop. I'll do this day in, day out. I've worked jobs before where I don't feel like I had a giant impact on the world around me. And over the last 2 years of being a full-time artist, I've felt like I've had an impact on more lives than I did on the previous 10. And with that in mind, I'll turn my introverted self into an extrovert to tell you about the art, to talk about the art, to help you feel what I feel a little bit of inside the art. Oh. second. Da-da-da-da. All right, guys. Although it's been really fun to be here, I need to dash off. Just got a call that I need to be somewhere. So, absolute pleasure to hang out with you here today. We've made some fantastic ground. If you're fairly perceptive, you might start to see the tiles on the kitchen floor or in the environment this dog's in, Oreo, heading backwards. And you might start to see the pillar of the dog coming up. But remember, this early in the piece, we don't want to get the perfect dog straight away. We want wild, chaotic paint. We have that right now. It's crazy. Later on, more colours, send it into a more wild place, really get primal with it, and then a little bit of detail just to bring those characteristics of Oreo to a close. Thank you for your inspo. I'll get to painting now. Yes, please do. And I might see you on the next one if the time zones work out. Otherwise, wherever you are in the world, have a great day or a great night and look after yourselves, guys. Okay, I've got to go. Bye. That awkward moment where I try and find the button. There we are. See you guys.